First Ironheart reactions are in. Does it defy the haters? Or is it another skippable series? It's always about you, right? It's always about the audience. It's amazing. It doesn't matter if it's the 2024 election or whether it's a Disney streaming product. It's always about like how evil is the actual voters? How evil are the audience?
Going out there from the media that you are just a racist if you don't like Ironheart. The reason it's getting this backlash, the reason it's getting bad reviews, the reason that fans don't like what they see, it's just because all the damn racists out there, Jay. It's MAGA trolls, it's racist, it's blah, blah, blah. Well, we finally have our first hint of what this show is performing like when it comes to the numbers. Spoiler alert, kind of exactly what we expect. Ironheart ratings in the gutter.
$200 million. That's how much Marvel quietly spent on a show they didn't even try to promote. No fanfare, no press tour, no premiere event. Just 6 episodes of Ironheart, quietly uploaded to Disney Plus, like radioactive waste they were hoping no one would notice. And guess what? No one did. This wasn't some surprise drop to catch fans off guard. This was Marvel hiding the body. The studio that once built billion-dollar franchises out of hype and momentum just dropped a brand new series without a whisper. Why? Because deep down, they knew. They knew this wasn't the next Iron Man. They knew it wasn't groundbreaking. They knew it was a dud. So they tossed it out quietly, hoping nobody would care enough to ask questions.
Where Downey Jr. pointed out to both Marvel and Disney that this could not only ruin his reputation, but also cost him fans, and he's against making those statements. However, both Bob and Kevin informed him that taking part in these types of statements and the press tour for Ironheart is built into his very expensive contract for the future of the MCU, mostly related to the return in Avengers Doomsday. RDJ is already challenging both Bob Iger and Kevin Feige that he will only make statements defending Ironheart and Riri Williams if it avoids arguments about DEI.
This isn't a release strategy. It's a confession. Ironheart didn't flop because people missed it. It flopped because no one wanted it in the first place. Marvel didn't roll out Ironheart. They dumped it. 3 episodes dropped on a random Tuesday, and the final 3, exactly 1 week later. No weekly build-up, no mid-season hype, no cliffhangers to stir conversation. Just a quiet, awkward binge release, like they were trying to sneak it out the back door. That's not how you treat a flagship hero. That's how you treat a mistake. And the cherry on top? Marvel pretended the show's future depends on fan demand. But what fans? There was no buzz, no trending hashtags, no online movement begging for more. Not even hate watchers showed up. When even controversy can't save your show from disappearing, it's over.
Yeah, and it's like the real Tony Stark gets like back somehow, and there's like a moment where she's flying through and he's like, who is that? And she's like, I'm Ironheart, Mr. Stark. And he's like, I like that girl. And then he like goes to do something else. Like that would be like the level of something that I think would possibly happen.
This wasn't just a soft launch. It was a silent burial. Marvel knew Ironheart was a disaster, and they released it like a studio waving the white flag. It wasn't a premiere. It was an evacuation. Despite everything, Marvel still won't officially cancel Ironheart. Instead, they're hiding behind vague language, dependent on viewership, still being discussed, awaiting fan feedback. It's the oldest trick in the book, keep the illusion alive T. Avoid admitting failure. The head writer, Chinaka Hodge, even told fans, you can decide what happens next, but that only works if people are actually watching, and they're not. There's no audience to rally, no demand to build on, no momentum to justify a second season. It's not a cliffhanger. It's a dead end.
They also had Robert Downey Jr. and they had him roll out and really kind of prop the show up and prop the character of Riri Williams up above Tony Stark and really tried to really have him really as the face of the Ironheart press tour, and it really just backfired completely.
Marvel is simply too proud to say it's over. They'd rather let it fade into silence than admit they lit $200 million on fire. When the best case scenario is maybe she'll show up in Secret Wars, it's not a launch pad, it's damage control. This isn't hope for season 2. It's just corporate stalling while the studio quietly moves on. Marvel's silence said it all. No viewership numbers, no streaming charts, no spin, nothing. And that's the biggest red flag of all. When Daredevil Born Again dropped, Marvel boasted 7.5 million views. When Agatha All Along launched, it bragged about 9.3 million. Even The Acolyte had its numbers front and center despite mixed reviews. But Ironheart? Total blackout. Not a single figure released. Why? Because the numbers were probably humiliating.
They have Dominique Thorne, going out there talking about DEI, LGBTQ rights, and how there's no agenda there, and she continues to do so. But the other thing is that they also had Robert Downey Jr., and they had him roll out and really kind of prop the show up and prop the character of Riri Williams up above Tony Stark.
It didn't chart on Luminate during its premiere week, not even in the top 10. That's almost impossible for a Marvel project. And with a rumored budget around $200 million, the same spending spree that gave us She-Hulk and Secret Invasion, this was a blockbuster-level flop. Disney didn't promote it because they knew what they had. A 6-episode embarrassment too costly to cancel, but too bad to save. Marvel pitched Riri Williams as the next Iron Man, a brilliant black teen who builds her own suit and takes on the world.
Daredevil was a massive disappointment in the ratings for them, certainly. We do know, when you go and you look at through these charts, the first couple days it was out, because we have 3 days of Ironheart in these numbers, just like we had 3 days of Daredevil in these numbers. And Daredevil in those first 3 days had over 300 million minutes watched. So, and that was with less possible runtime than something like Ironheart. Yet we know that it hasn't matched that.
On paper, sure, that sounds promising. In practice, it was a complete failure of character execution. Riri didn't come off as relatable or heroic. She came off as smug, arrogant, dismissive. She never earned anything. She just expected it. Somehow, she's both the smartest person in every room and the perpetual victim of everything around her. Her character arc didn't show growth, vulnerability, or sacrifice. It showed entitlement. And then came the jaw-dropper. Her big hero moment ends not with triumph, not with evolution, but with her literally making a deal with Mephisto, the devil himself. That's not character development. That's brand suicide. Marvel tried to build a symbol of empowerment and instead created a protagonist audiences actively root against. A new low. When the reviews started coming in, and not the kind Marvel was hoping for, the usual playbook kicked in. Critics rallied, not with honesty, but with excuses. Rotten Tomatoes magically cleaned up its audience reviews. 1-star ratings vanished. Just like that, poof, as if a racing backlash could rewrite reality. Even after this digital sanitation, the audience score still tanked. IMDb, a painful 4.2. That's in the same league as Eternals and Echo. The please stop making TV tier. But instead of taking accountability, Marvel doubled down on denial. They claimed show was misunderstood, that audiences just didn't get it. But fans did get it, loud and clear. What they got was a tone-deaf, soulless series that mistook identity for personality and assumed criticism was bigotry. The critics didn't save it. They just delayed the inevitable, the audience walking away in silence. Ironheart isn't just a bad show, it's a warning sign, a symptom of a studio that's completely lost the plot. Once upon a time, Marvel knew how to tell stories. Complex characters, emotional arcs, payoff built over years. But now, they write for social media applause, not audiences. Characters are no longer flawed heroes who grow. They're untouchable mascots of identity politics. Riri Williams isn't written as a person, she's a checklist. Brilliant? Check. Oppressed? Check. Always right? Check. No journey, no struggle, no depth. And it shows. What used to be compelling storytelling has been replaced with shallow symbolism. These aren't heroes, they're hashtags. They're algorithm bait wrapped in representation. And Ironheart is the byproduct of that creative rot. A hollow series, born from good intentions, but crippled by lazy execution. Marvel forgot who they were writing for, and fans can feel it. That's why they stopped showing up. 6 episodes came and went, and it was like Ironheart never existed. No trending hashtags, no theories, no buzz, not even memes. That's how culturally empty this show was. Even when Marvel content flops, it usually sparks something: discussion, debate, backlash. But Ironheart? Nothing. Total silence. And that's worse than failure. It's irrelevance. When even hate watchers can't be bothered, you've hit rock bottom. Riri didn't capture attention, didn't inspire, didn't ignite fandom, because there's no story worth latching onto, no character to root for, no excitement to build on. That's why nobody's demanding a season 2. Not because people didn't see it, but because the ones who did instantly forgot it. That's the legacy of Ironheart. Not a misfire, but a complete non-event. A show so unmemorable, it didn't even spark outrage. That's how deep Marvel's disconnect from its audience has become. Even now, Marvel is still pretending there's hope. The showrunner is out doing interviews, urging fans to show support, so a season 2 can happen, as if Ironheart deserves it. But let's be honest, if this show gets renewed, it won't be because of demand. It'll be because someone at Marvel is terrified of admitting they backed a failure. It's not about storytelling anymore. It's about salvaging a brand. And maybe, just maybe, Riri gets squeezed into secret wars alongside every leftover character they can find, hoping a CGI explosion of cameos distracts us. Investment. It's denial. Desperation dressed up as marketing. A lifeline thrown into a void that's already stopped listening. Ironheart isn't just a flop. It's a symptom of a bigger issue. Marvel has forgotten how to earn investment. They don't build characters anymore. They assemble checklists. Representation is treated like a shield, not a starting point for depth. Riri Williams wasn't written to connect with audiences. She was engineered to make headlines. But headlines don't make heroes. Stories do. Arcs do. Flaws, growth, struggle. That's how we fall in love with characters. But when Marvel trades character for cardboard, story for spectacle, and audience connection for corporate agenda, the result is what we just witnessed. A show no one remembers, with a character no one believes in. And if the creators don't believe in her, if the studio won't stand behind her, then why should anyone else? The MCU isn't suffering from fatigue, it's suffering from emptiness. No weight, no soul, no spark. Just another name on a streaming list, forgotten by next week.